In this video, we will have introduction. Well, I'll give an introduction on product and quotient rule of derivatives, and then in the subsequent videos, we will have short videos of independent, separate examples. So, so our aim is to find the derivative of a product of two functions, f of x times g of x, when we know how to differentiate each one separately. Okay? F prime of x and g prime of x separately. Okay? A quick example is something that looks like x to the power of 4 times e to the power of x. So I can find the derivative of x to the power of 4. I can find the derivative of e to the power of x. But can I find the derivative of the product of these two functions? Or if I have y equals something that looks like this, x squared plus 2x plus 6 times x to the fourth minus 4x cubed plus 7x minus 2. Well, this I can differentiate, and that one I can differentiate separately. Can I differentiate the product? And I can show you that it's not the same thing as differentiate this one and differentiate this one and then multiply. It doesn't work that way. So a quick example is if I have y equals x to the fourth times x cubed, is y prime 4x cubed times 3x squared? Is that true? This is 12x to the power of 5. Is that the same as differentiating? Well, if you look at this function, y is x to the power of 7. But if you differentiate y prime, if you differentiate y prime becomes 7x to the power of 6. They are not the same. These are not the same. This one is correct, but this one is not. So the purpose of this example is to show you that we don't differentiate separately and then multiply the two. It doesn't work that way. We could do that for sum. We could do that for difference of two functions, but not for product of two functions. And so now what we call the product rule comes into picture. Okay? So product rule says this. If you have a function y, f of x times g of x, and if f prime of x and g prime of x exist separately, then y prime can be calculated by differentiate the first function, multiply by the second function, plus the first function as is, multiplied by the derivative of the second function. That's what we call the product rule. Differentiate first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. Okay? So this is the formula that we have for product rule. So in my example up there, if I have y equals x to the power of 4 times e to the power of x, then y prime becomes differentiate the first, 4 times x cubed, times the second as it is, plus the first as it is, times the second differentiate. Well, fortunately for us, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x as it is. So what I just did is differentiate first times the second plus the first times differentiate the second. So that's what the product rule tells us. And we can simplify this, but that's basically what the product rule is. And I will give you a few examples, and then I'll make another quick introduction for the quotient rule. All right.